Hey, Paul.
How's it, guys?
What's happening?
You ready for your trip to Paris?
I'd like to say I am, but I've got so much to do before I go with two little kiddies at home.
Yeah. Ups the level of anxiety a bit. You got so much to do, and yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, one of the things, I suppose, with the pod, you're so tied into the travel industry. So when you do get a chance to travel again, it's nice to actually see all the things you've been talking about.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it from that perspective. But
there were some rumors going around earlier this week that there were going to be ATC strikes and that in France and everything. But it looks like they've managed to sort their shit out, and
I hope so.
Affected by that.
I'm flipping hope so, because I'm coming back on Thursday evening, land in Joey's in the morning, and then jumping in the car with the family down to Durban for my cousin Jared's wedding.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to miss that, because a lot of my family from all over the world coming for that. So, yeah, it's, I don't know. Remember, so I think everyone finds this sim training. We were lucky at SA Express. We had our sim training in Morlaix, or eventually, but it was in Berlin first. And every 6 months to go for sim was actually like the perfect time.
Oh, it was like a treat, though.
Because, you know, you get a bit of a break from the normal line stuff and get away for a bit. And, you have to go fly and you have to perform. But it was always a cool little trip. Yeah,
there was some hard work there, but there was always a bit of reward, like getting to enjoy a Lacquer 1664 after a hard sim session. Those little joys were Lacquer.
Yeah, you
miss that.
You forget about that. A 1664 after a sim session always tasted a hell of a lot better than what it normally does.
Yeah, I do miss those.
So yeah, I'm lucky, because I get to go travel with my old man. He's coming, and it's always a nice thing. End up being very busy on that side, because I got to do a few presentations and all the rest, and I think a bit stressful leading up to it. But looking forward to the trip nonetheless.
Lekker, man.
But jumping into it, speaking about things that can go wrong on these trips, you see what happened there in the UK the other day.
Major stuff up with
So there's a nationwide outage causing long queues for thousands of passengers. The issue was quickly addressed by airport authorities, with all the e-gates back online by midnight. So these e-gates had an outage, and it caused chaos at Heathrow, Gatwick, and Manchester.
Yeah, so massive inconvenience, lots of delays.
Those are the things where you scan the passport. Yeah, okay.
And then it checks
those things that no South African has ever been through.
Exactly. We've got those machines standing here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wonder who got that tender.
But wait, after the end of the month, we'll see. Maybe those things change.
Yeah.
I'm not going down the political route.
FAA is investigating Boeing's 787 Dreamliner due to falsified inspection records in South Carolina. Boeing employees did not perform required inspections on wing-to-body joints, raising concerns about safety. Boeing is taking corrective action and inspecting all affected aircraft. Every week there's Boeing stuff. In fact, I wanted to do today's show. There was an article, I think I mentioned it last week, but there was such a poorly written article about aviation safety, and it was basically about Boeing and Airbus. And this article was saying how shitty Boeing is. And Courtney Miller's got visual approach analytics, I think it is. And he commented to say the data that you're using in this report is totally wrong. In other words, they've included safety data from Boeing Stearman accidents and all sorts of things, and they've eliminated certain Airbus incidents that have happened to make it seem way worse. So I was actually going to start off today about that article, but there's too much negative Boeing stuff to actually. The article doesn't work on this podcast today because the next story is about Spirit AeroSystems, and then there was a FedEx 767 freighter issue, and it just goes on. And then there was another whistleblower on CBS News last night.
And have you seen how many, I suppose people are turning it into jokes, but whistleblower jokes that have been in the last sort of weekend? It's just like, gone berserk.
Yeah, and not even like non-aviation people are like getting in on the whistleblowing memes.
Heavy.
Yeah, so I thought, no, it's not actually a good week to report on that article because it just doesn't flow with the rest of the show.
No.
But how this stuff is just keeps coming out, I don't know. Spirit AeroSystems considering financial options after facing heavy losses and cash burn in the first quarter, obviously due to the issues with Boeing. The company's liquidity is under major pressure, with talks of recombining with Boeing and challenges in negotiations with Airbus. Production delays and cost concerns are adding to Spirit's financial challenges. If they come out of this clean, it will be a miracle.
Yeah.
But, not all good. And anything to do with Spirit is kind of always feels a bit synonymous with Boeing. So, yeah, not good. Sticking with Boeing, a FedEx 767 freighter landed at Istanbul without its nose gear after a failed attempt to extend it during the approach from Paris. The landing was successfully executed on the main gear. No reported injuries, and air traffic was briefly suspended. Crew did a good job, as per usual.
Yep. Well-trained crew. I mean, that's what you expect.
FedEx, those 767s must be getting on in years, hey?
Hey, most 767s around the world, I think, are pretty tired now. Yeah.
They're not new.
No. Still a lacquer airy, though.
It is. It's a good-looking airy. United A320 got its wheels stuck in muddy grass at Edmonton Airport after rolling off the tarmac while taxiing. The incident happened. Uniform Alpha 2308 arrived from Denver. Passengers and crew were offloaded. Operations at the airport were unaffected. It remains unclear if the aircraft has been relocated.
And there was news just before we started the podcast of a Transair 737 in Senegal.
Yeah.
That had a runway excursion last night as well. Don't think there's anything on the news just yet, but...
Yeah, that must be recent.
Yeah.
Probably on Fly Africa. Yeah. Do you think this was crew error, this one? Does that look like... It looks like grass there.
Yeah, I think they...
Cut the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the worst thing I think that could happen, eh? Yeah, I know there's much worse things that could happen, but like something...
You must feel like a righteous tit when that happens. Because you're like cut the corner, and then it like goes south. You're like, oh, shit.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Sorry. Right, this one's interesting. Over 90 Air India Express flights were disrupted due to cabin crew unexpectedly calling in sick since Tuesday night. The disruptions have led to schedule changes and operational challenges for the budget carrier. The sudden sick leave of over 100 cabin crew members severely impacted the airline's operations. Well, you would think that it would.
Bad catering or bad rostering?
I think it's securely on the bad rostering side. How do you fight back? We spoke about strikes last week.
Yeah.
Strikes work, eh?
Yeah. They are bullshit, but they do work.
Yeah. But, Air India Express. FlyDubai plans to split operations between Dubai International and Al Maktoum. So I was wrong. I thought that was like a...
It's going to be like an exclusive...
Emirates. But I suppose they're the same, you know. The airline CEO emphasized the move to a new terminal at DWC for expansion and discussed concerns about Boeing's delivery delays. FlyDubai is set to expand to new European destinations and expects sustainable travel demand in the future. FlyDubai seems like quite a cool place to work, actually. I think that most of the people I've spoken to that are there seem pretty happy. A lot of SAFers there doing well.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've seen a lot more longevity.
Where would you go if you... I mean, pay-wise, I suppose you get maybe a bit less at FlyDubai than Emirates, or no? Am I wrong?
I'm not entirely sure about pay-wise.
Would you take, I suppose, a FlyDubai gig? You based out of Dubai, but you've got more of a normal.
Not necessarily.
No.
Not necessarily. I think the FlyDubai roster favors more night flying than it does day flying.
Oh, really?
So there's a lot of through the night gigs. You're signing on at 11 o'clock at night, and they've got long sectors as well. So much of a muchness. But if it was up to me, I would.
For all the youngsters listening, willing to take Parok's recommendation, advice.
Look, it's for me personally. If I go to Dubai, I would love to go and fly heavy metal. So I'd like to go and join Emirates if they would take me.
So if you're going to make the move, then you're going to make the move to go fly some heavy metal.
That's it, yeah. So, but FlyDubai is not a bad option. I mean, the guys that I do speak to regularly seem to be reasonably happy.
Yeah.
But again, it's a question of, I suppose, you make of it what you want.
Seems like a good gig. I don't obviously get a lot of Gen. It's funny. Emirates and FlyDubai and even I suppose all the Middle Eastern carriers. I don't get a lot of Gen as to exactly what's going on.
They're not allowed to tell you.
They're not really allowed to tell us, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you might blurt out the guy's name wrong, and then next thing you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But we would never do that, by the way. So we're always very
careful about that.
About that. So if you do want to feed us any Gen, you can rest assured that your name will not be mentioned. Emirates, staying with them, they had pulled this one up because we did mention it on last week's show. The A350 in Emirates colors. There it is.
So there it is in full colors now.
Yeah, looks cool.
Pretty slick, eh?
Let me get rid of that thing there. Nice, eh?
Very, very nice.
Emirates color scheme is pretty cool. So a 350 in Emirates color scheme is on the money.
Nice.
And it'll be interesting to see how well they do. You're saying with FlyDubai, they're speaking about Boeing. You know, what sort of things are being discussed in their board meetings with fleet planning for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
You can't tell me that all these airlines, including Ryanair, that only operate the 737
aren't a little bit nervous.
Yeah, there must be some form of, contingency plans in discussion, at least, you would think.
I think...
I wouldn't want to... Yeah,
it must be a difficult position.
It must be incredibly difficult.
Yeah. I suppose it's lining up, like we said, Embraer and Comac, those manufacturers is lining them up nicely to possibly climb in and get on the bandwagon. But they're going to have to make sure that their offering is pretty damn good and that they can back up
what they say.
Yeah.
Embraer looked like they were going to maybe try and jump into that market. There was another article this week saying, no, they're not. Yeah. So that might have been a bit of a campfire story.
Shit.
The Gulfstream G600 been certified for steep approaches at airports like London City and Lugano. Certification allows the jet to access more airports globally. That's good for us because we can now go
we can
to a few places we couldn't before.
Exactly.
On our G600.
Always
because the Patreon is kicked off. So I've put an order in there for a G600.
Listen to this. I mean, I've always been really annoyed that we couldn't take our Gulfstream into.
And it would look so cool with our color scheme, those neon lights.
Yeah.
Hey?
I can for that. G600 in Bryan colors.
Yeah. That'll look legit.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
What a studio. Air Canada. They rank pretty low in customer satisfaction compared to other airlines, particularly in business and premium class. Passengers were not satisfied with the value for the price paid, according to a survey. The reason I bring up Air Canada, I don't know enough about it. I need to research a bit, which probably means I shouldn't talk about it. But Jordan Peterson, obviously being Canadian, there was a whole thing on Twitter over this last week with what's going on there in Canada in terms of this prime minister that they have. They have put in a law a written law that basically says if you have said anything online, whether it's in the past, 10 years ago, whenever it is, anything that could be regarded as hateful speech or something derogatory to minorities or whatever it is, you can actually be arrested and jailed under this new law. So not like post the law coming in, they can actually go back and they can take, if they find hate speech, they can arrest you off it.
Yeah, but that applies to Canadian.
It's Canadian.
Yeah.
So
that would mean the end of all the Canadian podcasts, eh?
Well, but this is the point, eh?
What a lot of bullshit.
This is the point. I mean, geez, can you imagine? Not that you sort of go onto a podcast and say hateful things on purpose.
Sometimes it just happens.
Sometimes it just pops up.
No, I'm joking. It's not like we say that. But I mean, what happens if
it's bad.
Are there any Canadians doing podcasts that are like us?
No, but I mean anything. If
you've got a shit sense of humor and it's not meant to be.
Well, what does Jordan Peterson say? If something about speaking the truth, you have to risk being offensive. You have to risk offending someone. By speaking your mind.
In today's day and age, that's not difficult.
No, and to have a proper opinion, you have to risk offending someone. We've seen that a lot. So, we have to keep an eye on that and hope like hell that doesn't become law in this country. Yeah. Let's go to this country. Parliament will review a report recommending the cancelled SAA Takatso Sesame deal be invested by the Special Investigative Unit. The 6th parliamentary term is ending with key issues like Deputy Public Protector appointments and lifestyle audits on the agenda. Various bills will be considered, including the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill and Public Procurement Bill. So it's not the end of that whole investigation. Something will come out of it. Probably nothing, but whatever. And then there's another one. High flight costs in South Africa are mainly due to the soaring price of jet fuel, which makes up a significant portion of airlines' operating expenses. Airlines struggle with import fuel costs, weak exchange rates, and additional logistical expenses. The exit of Comair led to a temporary price increase, but airlines are cautious about lowering fares to ensure economic sustainability. Fuel prices are high. There was definitely a big jump in ticket costs. It doesn't. Have you noticed everything is expensive these days?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you do. It's not airline tickets. So the airlines are operating on such slim margins as it is.
Yeah.
With increased fuel prices and that, of course, they're slightly higher. But when you look at them, you don't look at them and go, "Wow, this is extreme."
No, everything is
everything else. It's just matching everything else. But I suppose, you know what it does limit, Ryan? It limits should we take the kids and fly to Cape Town for 4 days? Because the tickets alone are, you add 4 of them up, the little increase is quite significant.
Yeah. No. So those impulsive travel plans are
out
gone.
the window.
Even it's unfortunate because even a short trip down to Durban, how much easier wouldn't it be for you to jump on an airplane when you get back?
Yeah.
And then just fly down to Durban and have it sorted out. But no, it's expensive.
It's expensive. Compared to an overseas ticket, it's still cheap as chips, but nonetheless, it is expensive.
I mean, we were talking about the other day, the family member who traveled to the UK a couple of weeks ago, my aunt. And when she told me what she paid for a ticket, I couldn't believe it. I mean, compared to what you would pay 15 years ago to go to Chicago from Joburg, as opposed to what it costs now to get to London one way.
No, it's nuts.
Holy shit. Yeah. But it is what it is right now.
Pretty vuss. I sent you something on Instagram the other day. It was a dude in AI, an AI version of this professor.
Yeah, that was freaky.
And he's interviewing the guy. Did it freak you out?
It kind of did, because it's just emphasized how quickly this AI,
and where it is.
Yeah, it's growing and where it's going. I mean, it's frightening. And if you're not staying on top of it,
so I'm going to throw it out there today. AI is playing a role in your life today in one way or another, whether you like it or not. Most of the people listening to this pod today are obviously in the aviation industry. I suppose most of you are flying. How is it affecting you today, and how do you think it's going to affect you in the future in terms of your current job, in terms of training? You know, how do we think it's going to affect us? This video that I'm speaking about is basically, it's a large language model that's collected hours and hours of transcripts, similar to what we have with the pod. I don't know how many hours. We probably got about 170, 180 hours or so of, you know, maybe a bit less transcript that we could upload to this. And you can create a digital version of ourselves that could actually speak the way we would speak and answer a question the way we would answer, because this large language model has collected enough information about Ryan to know how he would answer a particular question. And it's just, I find it scary and interesting at the same time. And I'm just wondering if, is anyone else out there that's listening, are you nervous about it? Are you excited about it? Is it helping you now in your everyday life? And where do you think it's going to affect our industry? We've spoken about cabin crew already that could be replaced by virtual cabin crew. It sounded like, that'll never happen. But the reality is it's there. It's likely to happen. Single crew flight deck, there'll be some form of AI that takes a role of that. You know, there's a lot that we can speak about with...
I think it's going to influence a lot of different jobs in our industry in particular. I mean, if you talk about like your check-in agents at the airports, and, you know, there's a lot of those jobs that AI could quite easily take care of. So I think that's where it's scary, is like, how many jobs is it going to replace, or is it just going to change the way things are done? You know, and one thing that will never change is you'll never get away from having a petrol attendant in South Africa.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it'd be an interesting one. I'm interested in the guys' comments to see what, if they're thinking about it, or if it will affect us at all. Maybe aviation is immune to this AI revolution. I certainly don't have the answers, but I'm throwing it out there, see if we get any comments back.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Paul. I'm going to go home and pack.
Yeah, enjoy it, Kaz. Safe travels, and we'll catch you on the flip side when you get back.
We'll have a good convo when we're back about the travels going through Charles de Gaulle and all the rest. And short little break in Durban, making a pit stop on the way home in Nottingham Road. I love that part of the world.
Okay.
Stay there for a little bit. So have a little bit of local travel tourism news for you as well.
Nice, man. Have fun.
Thank you. Bye
Ciao.
for now.